And I mean, that's the thing about refining as we move forth too, and
Yeah.
as we keep going through things, right? God is going to readjust and help us to really get more, defined along the way. But even the fact that you have identified this specific target group, of fathers, right,
Hmm.
as the area that you are, feel led to work with. I mean,
Hmm.
that's to me an accomplishment because a lot of people, a lot of biblical entrepreneurs that I see don't have yet a focus, right? They don't
Right.
have yet a target audience. They
Right.
have this general thing that I'm good at, this general calling that I feel led towards, right, in this direction, but they yet haven't kind of really started to define and decipher who specifically they're called to, that purpose that they're called to, right, is
Hmm.
actually addressing and that need that they're addressing. For you, how did you come to the point that you say, man, it's fathers, right? It's not sons, right? It's not families. It's, what I mean, like
Yeah.
how did you come and land on this specific target audience, right?
Right.
And to say that, okay, God has called me to really address these individuals with this specific need. Because you didn't just say men, right?
Right.
You
Hmm.
said you said fathers, right?
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's more of like a marketing thing where they tell you, "Oh, you speak to, everybody, you speak to nobody." So it's like almost like felt like I had to pick somebody to speak to. But,
Mm,
it was almost a no-brainer for me because,
mm,
just like I was saying, like, what are the passions and what are the things that God has given you to use and to unravel, and as I uncovered, I was like, fatherhood is just like something that I am all in. I'm an all in person. That's how he created me. And so it's like
mm.
either I'm all the way in or I'm all the way out. And so when I when I was growing up, the two dreams that I wanted to be were either be a police officer or Batman if I could, and a father. And those things clashed. Actually, got to a point where
you
I was
you
like,
want you one out of three right now, so you know what I'm
what?
saying. We can still get to the other two. We still got time,
Right,
you know.
right. Yeah, so I mean, it's still a dream. It's still in the bag, those dreams never go away. But being a father, and then just living that life. And I was like, you're a coach now. What do you want to coach on? What do you want to? And as a coach, it's like it's not just like I said, it's not just telling people what to do. Like you got to be able to swallow your own medicine. You got to be able to
Mm,
walk the walk first. You can't.
mm,
I'm not one of those hypocritical ones where it's like I don't have to change myself. Like in coaching, there's something we say, you can only go as deep with your client as you've gone yourself. And so
mm,
I can't coach a mother. I can't coach drug addicts because I've never had a drug addiction. I've never recovered from something like that. And so what are the places of experience that I could speak from, that I could pour
mm.
into, and that I'm passionate about, that just it just comes out of me. Like there's nothing I can do about it. Like you could talk about the saints and stuff, like it just comes out of you, right? It's just like passionate. It's easier to cut. It's just smooth as butter
Mm,
whenever you bring it out. And so, um, coaching fathers, man, on the life purpose thing, like I really feel called to like change the world
mm.
one generation at a time. And it starts with fathers, man. If you look in the world, we are we are so fatherless, and I didn't like that, and I don't wanted to change that.
Man, that it's so interesting, right? To hear you, present, saying that, right? Because it makes me think about Christ during the time of when he was on the Mount of Olives, giving out the Beatitudes, right? That Sermon on the Mountain, and it said that those the centurions, right, the Roman soldiers that came and heard him, they went back to give the report, and they said, "Hey, man, never a man spake as he spake," right? And I read a commentary one time that says, never a man spake as he spake because never a man lived as he lived. And I just thought that was
Mm,
so powerful because, when you have an experience, right, you speak a completely different way. And it's just
right.
like you saying, well, I couldn't coach this specific group of people. I haven't been through that, right? I've never been a drug
Yep.
addict. So how could I coach somebody through that, right?
Yep.
Haven't had that experience. But I've had this experience here as a father. So I
Mhm.
can I can help coach people through that thing. And it's those experiences that we have that we can then turn around and then help others with, right? When you taste some certain food, right? You've gone to a certain restaurant, you can say, hey, man, this food is fire, right? Because you're speaking with authority. You've actually
Mhm.
tasted it yourself.
Mhm.
And it's the same thing it's the same thing when we talk about from a personal walk standpoint, right? Jesus is trying to pour something inside of each and every one of us, right? That
Yeah.
we can then, right? He can then pull it out of us so we can be a benefit to other people. And
Right.
it's no different in whatever our calling is or whatever we've been, whatever we're seeking to do. And so, even for our listeners out there, what is it that you look and say in your experience, right? In your life that you can say, man, this is something I've overcome. This is something I've been through. This is something I've learned. This is a skill I've gained, because
Yeah.
it's that you can then pull on to then turn and be a blessing to somebody else with, right?
Yeah.
We're not talking about you going out here and grasping at something that you have no knowledge in, that you have
Mhm.
no abilities in.
Yeah.
God is going to use that thing that he has given you skill and knowledge and ability in. And even something that's, sometimes we wouldn't think about the fact that, man, how I've actually raised my son and kept a connection with him throughout these years. There's many people who are dying to understand how to do that better, right?
Right.
And so
Right.
something as simple as that could be the same thing that God could turn around and you have such an impact with people on. And that thing be the thing that he uses to also help you take care of your family, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
He can
Yeah.
do both.
Absolutely. And like, yeah, if you think about God, like, does he waste? Like, does he
Mm,
give you something that he doesn't intend for you to use?
come on. Yeah.
And then what, you're gonna, stay in this comfy, cozy job, not maximizing that, right? You're gonna feel like there's a reason we feel unfulfilled, right? There's got to be a reason why we feel unfulfilled. I just let
Mm.
people make that, what is that? Why do we have that?
Thanks for watching the Lion and Lambo podcast. We hope this clip has been a huge blessing to you. And we want to remind you that we drop new videos, new podcast episodes every Sunday at 9 o'clock. You can find the full episode by clicking the card up at the top right of this video. If you prefer an audio only experience, then we want to let you know that we're streaming through every major podcast streaming platform. For the full list, you can go to www.lionandthelambo.com. Until next time, go impact the world.